What's up YouTube? Welcome back to the M54 project. Today we're back on the cheap mods. This time we're going to be looking at visual mods that's really going to help the rear of the car. For those of you that have been following along, this BMW has come a long way from where we purchased it as the cheapest BMW 135i in Australia. Now, I'm no mechanic, but I feel what we've done so far has been impressive. We've managed to swap out the steering wheel, we've changed out the headlights, we've changed the blow-off valve, we've changed the charge pipe, and we've done the intercooler. All of that has accumulated to a pretty good daily driver. Now it's about fine-tuning those creature comforts to make that car really feel like my own or your own if you're following along from home. Continuing in the true nature of this project, we've gone cheap and easy for these mods. Today we're going to be fixing the rear third brake light, which you would have seen that last video is demolished. We're going to be adding on a blacked out badge, and we're going to be adding in LED reverse lights. So let's get into it. So first mod we're going to be looking at is the blacked out third brake light. So you can see here, it's not too complex, it's a one-piece part. This was extremely cheap, especially compared to genuine, about 30 bucks from AliExpress, so I'll include a link below. The main difference is, as you can see, this is blacked out. In the genuine part is a red, so I'm thinking this blacked stealth look should look pretty good at the back of my black 135i. The next part, this one is personal preference, but I've gone for a blacked out badge. So the previous owner of this car actually removed the badge, but being a 135i, I think that you don't want to be removing the badge. It's generally the lower models that you'll see cars removing the badge from, and without actually knowing it's a 135i, someone could assume that it is one of those lower spec models. You would have seen that my number plate obviously has 135 included in it, so that's not something that I'm hiding. So this will be cool to add back on. The final mod is a bit of a creature comfort for me specifically. So obviously we installed the black lines a little while back, and they have regular bulb, halogen bulb reverse lights, and so they do not output a lot of light, whereas these LED bulbs output a lot brighter light. So they're going to be quite a significant upgrade in terms of usability. These were also quite cheap, about 10 bucks or so. Total cost for all the mods has been 50 bucks today, so very cheap and should have a good impact on overall daily vibe of the car. So this mod sees us back in the boot. We're going to be taking off the carpet to get to the inside. You can see here my third brake light is completely demolished. Basically, it's a common problem for these to snap. This is a 15-year-old car, so it's due for a couple of refreshes. Okay, so we're going to take all of this off using these parts here, just using the trim tool. Alright, so this might be a little bit difficult to see, but we're going to be unloosening these springs, there's 4 of them, as well as disconnecting these wires once we've loosened it. So these bolts are what's holding in the brake from the other side, so we'll loosen these, and then we're going to go for pushing that through to this side. Okay, so we've had mixed results with those screws. Half of them have completely come out rather than just the bolt coming off, which we can easily fix up afterwards. But the key part is you need to keep the bolts and you need to keep these springs, because we'll be adding them back onto the new parts. So next step, pull this through. And you just got to make sure to disconnect this little tab here.
2 very boring minutes later.
So that was a little bit tricky. I ended up having to, you can see here, ended up having to break this piece. You know, plastic gets old over time and didn't want to come out. The connection didn't want to come out. So being that we're not reusing this is absolutely fried as it is. It was fine to break, so that's done. Now on to adding the new one in. Okay, so we've got the new one here. You can see the 4 metal spikes. Easy way to remember what way's up is the cutout section is up. So you're just gonna reconnect the tab here and then slide it back in through the 4 holes. All right, so that took a little bit of time. 3 of those bolts had seized on, so I had to work some magic to disconnect them, reattach them. So in the meantime, I've added all 3 springs back to the metal inserts. Added those bolts back on. I've only hand tightened them as the design seems to be a bit fragile, so I don't want it too tight to cause the problem which caused it to break originally. Make sure you put the thick end of the screw towards the light, not the bolt side. So when you're doing it, that will make sense. Next, just to put everything back together and we'll give it a test. Now for the big test and reveal. Hopefully everything all went well. Let's see. Okay, so we ran out of time yesterday, but looked like it was all a success. I just want to take the opportunity, if you haven't already, please make sure you subscribe. It really gives motivation to keep making these videos. Okay, so next we're going to do the quick and easy badge. I've got this really handy cutout template that I found online. Have a look here. It's super simple, has some easy lines and diagrams to make it much more simple to line your badge up perfect. So we're going to attach that with some tape that won't leave any residue and then go from there. So first step, we've got to clean the area. So I've got a microfiber cloth and cleaning alcohol. Just going to really prepare the area, make sure it sticks properly. So link will be in the description, but make sure you cut out and prepare the template. Basically, it's going to be lining up like so, and we'll be adding in the badge in that area there. So next step, we've got the badge ready just to stick it into templates. So just going to line them up for each part. Link will be in the description for you to purchase your own, super cheap, something like 10 bucks, so easy. Not exactly perfect. Look, I mean, that's about as perfect as you're going to get. The main thing I was concerned about is keeping it straight under this bottom line. Look, I'm really happy with the result. I've got the 135 number plates and now I've got the badge again. So big win, 10 bucks. So what are your thoughts? What do you reckon? I've gone for the completely blacked out look now. We've got the blacked out tail light, blacked out badge with the black line LCI lights and a carbon fiber spoiler. Look, I think it's looking pretty clean myself. Give me your thoughts. Please leave a comment. What would you change next? Is there anything else that I should be doing to this car? I can put together a tutorial if you leave me a comment. So for this final mod, we're back in the boot. We're going to be changing out these reverse lights. They just come through here. You can't really see, but it's a halogen bulb in there. This one's pretty easy. Just got to open up, and again, similar to that black line edit, sorry it's a little dark, but that black line video that we did, you've just got to get in this area and pull out the rear tail light back end. So let's get into it. So like I said, in the boot, just get this pocket out. It's easy, just fold in clips. And what we want to be doing is removing this back plate from the light. So we're going to unclip this cord, the power cord, and then we're going to be unscrewing a couple of, I think there's bolts or screws in here. All right, nice and simple. So that one was pretty easy to get out. Basically, there's a clip top and bottom, no screws required. This is what comes out. So you'll see you've got the two brake lights that are the top two, and then this one down bottom here that sticks out the highest, that's our reverse light. So we're going to be swapping that out, adding in the LED bulb. So with that, we're ready to test it. Fingers crossed, we'll see soon. So you would have seen the difference. This is obviously daytime, so you cannot tell the full extent, but they are much brighter. Super happy with that. Didn't get any errors on the dashboard. I did forget to plug it in the first time, but that was quickly fixed. You know, more drummers on the car. There's a little bit of condensation slash maybe smoke coming from the exhaust. That's something I'm going to have to fix in the future. We've got the injectors, we've got the coils, we've got the spark plugs. So that's coming. But for this fix, super happy with the result. So that was good fun. It was good to get back out there, film some mods. Only small this time, but very meaningful. Big impact for such a cheap cost, only 50 bucks total. So if you liked it, if you liked what you saw, if you want to see more of these videos, please give me a comment and a follow if you haven't already. Those really support me and help me get that motivation to keep making these. So for those with keen eyes, you might have spotted some wheels in the back of one of those shots. We'll be adding them on very shortly, so really keen to get them on board, as well as just addressing the smoke issue. We've had a couple of misfires, so going to be doing an engine maintenance video very shortly. So stay tuned, subscribe, and we'll catch you next time. Cheers.